Once upon a time, there lived a sage inside a forest. He never met anybody. There were stories that he has got some magical powers. Often, people came to meet him at the forest. He didn't open the door ever. From behind the closed door, he asked the person at his doorstep the question, "Who are you?" The person at the doorstep started describing himself. The sage did not open the door and tell him, "Please go away." One day, a person came to him. He asked the person the same question from behind the closed door. "Who are you?" This time, this man replied, "I do not know who am I." This time, the sage opened the door and embraced him. "Please help me find out the answer." Today, we are going to search the answer of that question, being a physics lover.
In the wave particle duality video, we have already discussed that particles are not only particles, they have waves associated with it. And waves like light is not waves actually. It has some particle property too. We have also explained the quantization of energy levels of subatomic particles like electron or maybe proton, neutron, etc. This quantization explains the stability of atomic structure. In solving Schrödinger equation for so many systems, we can also derive the quantized energy levels. And for the derivations, you can check out my quantum mechanics playlist from another channel. The link is in the description box below. But quantum mechanics ends here. When we are describing why do electrons repel each other, we need particle physics. We need quantum field theory. Or maybe while explaining the reactions going inside sun, where a neutron gets converted to a proton, a positron and one electron neutrino. We need particle physics and quantum field theory. At CERN, two protons which are moving at a speed almost equal to the speed of light, that is 99.9999999% of the speed of light, they are made to collide with each other, and lots of fundamental particles have produced, lots of new particles are produced. Those particles were not actually inside the protons, but how did they are produced? Suppose this white sand, this is a field of electrons. Now what is a field? If we say field, then we have a picture in our mind that it is field of grass and it is a very vast land. But in physics, field is something which carries energy with it. And every fundamental particle has fields associated with it. This is just for illustration that how excitation in the field creates particle. For example, I am entering this stick below the water surface, and there are air bubbles trapped inside the sand is coming out. So I am exciting the field and particles are created. If sands are fundamental particles, then this is a field of sands. This field carries energy, and that energy is capable of creating new particles. Now, fields are associated with the fundamental particles only. Fundamental particle means which do not have any composite structure. Like that of an electron, neutrino, quarks. Neutron and protons are not fundamental particles. They do not have fields associated with it. But the protons, they are fundamental particles, and those particles have their own field which are capable of creating particles from energy. There are lots of fundamental particles around here and there. So all the fields of them are continuously interacting with each other, and their interaction creates new particles. Suppose this is electron 1 and this is electron 2. When this electron 2 comes in the vicinity of electron 1, this photon will be liberated from this electron 1, and because of the presence of this photon, this electron 2 can feel the presence of electron 1, and this photon is responsible for the repulsion between these two electrons. But how does this photon created, and where does it disappear after the interaction between these two electrons? Suppose this white sand, this is a field of electron. When two electrons come closer, because of the excitation in electron field creates another excitation in the photon field, which creates a photon. And when two electrons come closer, this photon mediates the interaction and it just disappears in the field. So creation of photon occurs from energy, and that photon is again disappeared. This is called virtual photon. Why the particles disappear after the interaction is because the particles created from energy, they didn't have anything. They have borrowed energy, they have borrowed mass from the field, and they have to repay that. So in order to repay to the field, the particles disappear into the field after the interaction.
Why I have chosen this electron-electron repulsion is because this is the most familiar interaction we encounter in our daily life. When we wake up from our bed, we get down from our bed, we rub our feet with the doormat, electromagnetic interaction is there. When I check copies of universities, the interaction between the pen and the paper is electromagnetic. This interaction is very much stronger than the gravitational one. If we keep a proton and an electron at a certain distance, then the force of attraction, which is the electromagnetic one, is 10 to the power 37 times stronger than the gravitational pull between them. Nature always fascinates us with its supreme beauty. But being a physics trainee, I always wonder, how come it drives me crazy? Gradually, I came to know that it's because I and the world surrounding me is very much connected, because we all are basically these 16 fundamental particles.